Hello, class, and welcome to Module 8. In this module, we will be covering CLOs 1 and 2. This is the last module. You need to have the Module 8 labs and other assignments complete before Wednesday of the last week of your quarter. You must have the final exam complete before the last day and time on your quarter calendar. These deadlines cannot be changed and must be followed. And so let's go through the Module 8 overview, objectives, and reading preparation. The overview: students will learn about and understand the process of biosolid stabilization and treatment. And the objectives: we want to understand the various sludge stabilization methods, describe the different types of bacteria used during anaerobic digestion at different temperatures. We want to compare and contrast the different methods of biosolids dewatering, and we want to compare the energy and labor requirements of different biosolids dewatering methods. The reading preparation comes from the Wastewater Treatment and Disposal 2, Chapter 6, which is on biosolids stabilization, and Chapter 7, which is on biosolids treatment. And then here is the list of the supplementary online video resources. These are to help enhance what you learn in the reading and to help you prepare for any quizzes, the final, and other assignments for this particular module. All right, so the Module 8 laboratory, we're looking at the quality of household water data sheet. So the following sections need to be included in your lab report for this week, or for this module actually. All right, so give an overall summary of the information given in this lab about surface water and the properties that are measured in your lab. For this lab, instead of using household water, you will collect water from two local waterways. In week 7, you also collected water. For this lab, you can use the same source as along with one other water source. All right. And so this was module 7, correction to week 7. And so in module 7, you also did a collection of water. You were going to collect water for this particular module's lab as well. And you're going to collect it from two local waterways. So the materials, you're going to put your materials that you use, your procedure, your observations, your discussion, and your reference. So in your discussion for this one, you want to compare and contrast the results from your two water sources. All right. So let's look at the lab report sheet. So this is going to give you your instructions on what you will need to do for this lab. All right, this gives you your overview, your outcomes, your time requirements, just like all the other labs, your PPE, and take pictures and use your stopwatch. This is going to give you your background. Okay, you're going to do tests for free and total chlorine. You're going to look at nitrogen and phosphorus. You're going to look at copper. Okay. You're going to look at whether it's hard water, you do a test for that. You're going to test for pH. You're also going to test for iron. So, what's included is you have all of these test strips for this lab. You'll also need two plastic cups. You'll need a graduated cylinder and a permanent marker. So, needed but not supplied, a bottled or filtered water. You're not going to use that, nor the tap water. This is where you're going to use two water sources. So, one water source will go in one cup, the other water source will go in the other cup, and you want to use your marker to label which is which, right? Your safety is always, we don't want to eat, drink, or chew gum while performing the lab, and we want to make sure that we clean up after ourselves and wash our hands after completing the lab. All right. And so You're going to read through the activity, obtain all your materials, clean and sanitize your workspace. Using the 100 milliliter graduate cylinder, you're going to fill the plastic cups with 200 milliliters so of your sample. So remember, we're not doing the filtered or tap water for this one, but you're using your water from your two water sources. But you want to use 200 milliliters of water for each of those cups, okay, from each of your water sources. And then go through and make sure you read through each of the activities. You want to make sure that you include all your information in your data table. And this data table is going to go in your lab report under the results section. So you want to make sure that you have all of that information. And this is where you will submit your lab report. All right. So then the other assignment for this module is the final exam. There's only one attempt for the final exam. Make sure you pay attention to what is the scheduled due date. There are 25 questions and you have 120 minutes or 2 hours to complete the final exam. If you have questions before you start the final exam, make sure that those questions are answered. All right. You don't want to be confused about something and get to the final exam and say, oh my goodness, I forgot I wanted to ask that question. By then it's too late. All right. So make sure that you ask your questions before you begin the final exam. All right. And that's all that needs to be done is the lab and the final for this last module for the class. I hope you've enjoyed the class. I've enjoyed having you as students, and I wish you all the best.